Now, this is a Regents question here. Now, without really even doing any work, without reading the entire thing, just based on the structure of this equation here, I already know that this question is going to be a question on exponential functions. Okay. But let's read through it just to get some content and some details on what it's actually asking. Okay. So Jim uses the equation right here to find the amount of money in an account. A. Okay. So A here is the amount of money. Now, an investment P, right? So P, an investment is just something that he purchased. This is actually giving away some of the information here, right? So what I know is an investment is typically something that increases in value. Okay. And if you actually know that part, okay, that vocabulary term, that's going to help you out with the answer choices here because I can see some of them say increasing, some of them say decreasing. Okay. But what the question itself is actually asking us to figure out is which phrase describes the yearly rate of change. So now let's say I didn't know this part, right? I didn't know, okay, that that word investment means something is increasing in value. Mathematically, what tells me that it's increasing, okay, is I'm looking at this part here. This here is my growth factor. Okay. Now, the recipe typically for my growth factor looks like one plus or minus whatever my rate is. Okay. So since I'm adding and not subtracting, that tells me that it's increasing. Okay. So it's not a decrease. It's not choice one or two. It's one of these two choices here. So the question is it adding 5% or is it adding 0.05? Now, the 0.05 here is actually a trap because I see 0.05, so they're hoping some students will actually pick that. But the caveat here is that when you talk about the rate is as a percent. Okay, so I have to think about what would 0.05 be if I converted that from a decimal to a percent. So I'd actually have to multiply that by 100, which would give me 5%. So this here is actually an increase of 5%. Okay. Now, again, there's this language component here, which helps to tell me that that is in fact an increase. But oftentimes, if you just look at your growth rate, your growth factor, you can identify if it is an increase or if it's a decrease based on if you're adding or if you're subtracting. Okay. And the other thing to be careful of is make sure that you're adding that actual percent as a decimal.